Well, good morning, Word of Grace family. As we're going through the discipleship journey, we learned that forgiveness, which means releasing others from wrong suffered, is one of the core values of followers of Jesus. I have an honor of sharing with you my story of reconciliation with my father. My dad passed away in April of 2016 from alcohol liver cirrhosis. Up until about 2 years of my dad's passing, I don't remember seeing my dad sober. He was either buzzed 4 days out of the week or he was really drunk the other 3. My dad started this lifestyle in his 40s after he had an affair with a woman at work. And with that lifestyle came more affairs and just complete neglect of my mom and me. He was abusive. I remember him throwing a shoe at my mom and that shoe hitting a door with a glass insert and the glass just shattering all over the floor. Those memories were etched into my mind as I was a little boy. I definitely didn't have a good example of a father or a husband. The only example I had was what I don't want to be like, which was like my dad. I remember being very young and having an incredible amount of hate towards my father because I saw how much pain he was causing my mom. We moved to the United States in 2001, and in 2004 I gave my life to Jesus in this very church. Because Jesus forgave us so much and shows us His mercy daily, you would think it would be very easy for us to forgive people that hurt us, right? Unfortunately, I really failed in this area with my fathers. It was one moment I could be here in church, worshiping Jesus, being full of joy, leaving the church, looking at my phone, seeing my dad's number on the caller ID, and all those old feelings of pain and emotion would rise up, and I would just talk very dishonorably to my dad. I remember screaming at my dad and asking him, "You have never asked my mom and I for forgiveness. Do you even know the amount of pain you have caused us?" In 2014, I received a call from my dad's primary doctor. He said that based on my dad's lab work, he needs to get to emergency as soon as possible because he has internal bleeding. I remember driving my dad to the hospital and looking at him and seeing how weak and unhealthy he looked. And I was just wondering if this was going to be the last day I was going to see my father. And I believe the Lord brought up this commandment from His Word, which was, honor your father and mother. And I got really convicted at that time because I realized that I haven't been honoring my dad, and God did not give me an out by saying, honor your father and mother, but if they are like this, then don't. Because the way of Jesus, we honor people because of who we are and whose we are. Now, my dad was a Jewish Holocaust survivor. He was in a Nazi camp from age 2 to 4. And I remember sharing with my dad about the gospel just when I became saved in the early 2000s. And he would say things like this, I'm a Jew and we don't believe in Jesus. This time was different. Right there in the car, after I asked my dad for forgiveness, he started crying. Then my dad said, I see the evidence of Jesus in you and how much you changed. And I see it in my wife, how much she loves me and cares for me, even though I've brought her so much pain. And I would like to accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. My dad and I prayed right there in the car. We cried. And the Lord just totally started healing my heart and helped me to forgive my dad. I gifted my dad Bible. And for the next 2 years, he would call me, and he would have a lot of questions, especially from the book of Matthew. Unfortunately, long-term alcoholism did its damage, and my dad passed away in April of 2016. I don't know if there is a photo of my dad and me just a couple of days before his passing. He's pressing his hand there on me, letting me know that he loves me. I'm just so thankful for God to help me to forgive my dad and restore our relationship. And now I'm holding on to the hope that one day I will see him healed and with Jesus.